about to ready to leave. And so he asked the other couple or the two people that didn't want to come sit over there. And he said, "Oh, what's wrong with y'all? I want to come sit over here with a rich man."
Damn.
He's definitely somebody that leaves with money because he just kept throwing up that he had this money. He was rich. He just felt the need to do it. And then as I was getting up, they started talking about alpha and beta. Started having alpha beta talk.
Mm-hmm.
I just thought it was kind of funny because YouTube space, and this is what always comes up. And so I kind of chimed in a little bit as I was leaving. I just was looking at them like, this is just crazy, man. So obviously other people talk about this all over, and it is a thing. It is a hierarchy that people look at. And clearly he wanted to be that guy. He wanted to, because he was the one that was initiating that conversation as well. So
yeah. I think people thoroughly misunderstand that shit, JR. Like I would venture to say, let's say we just use the alpha and the beta, right? I know there's a bunch of other ones people came up with. I would venture to say 90% of men are beta. And what that means is those are the men that make sure the world wakes up and goes to sleep. Those are the garbage truck drivers and people who long haul and movers. Every man who functions in society, because men largely follow well, hence the military. So it's no shade for somebody to be beta. It's just normal, right? Where, decently earning, right? Will protect his family at all costs. You know what I mean? Come home, go to sleep, take care of his responsibilities. There's nothing wrong, but just the tags have such a negative connotation, right? You don't have that many alphas in the world. Just think about that. It wouldn't make sense to have that many alphas because that's the apex. For everybody to be more alpha than beta wouldn't even make sense.
Most people don't understand the sociosexual hierarchy at all. So what you're describing is actually delta, right? That's who makes the world go around. The beta would be like your vice president, right? And then your alpha is your alpha. And then it goes all the way down. You got gamma, you got omega, which is the bottom of the barrel, the people who are just socially awkward and, known as rejects and everything. But, I mean, we're all necessary for society. What's that?
I guess we the rejects then, huh?
Nah, you couldn't be considered an omega. Like when I say socially awkward, like you don't know how to interact with women. Like you probably would not have a wife right now, right? No, because you're so socially awkward. That's omega. Yeah. Oh well. Oh damn. Well, yeah, probably. I guess.
But that's why I just simplified it, Trev, in terms of because people you only use alpha and beta. But I just want people to understand. Wrong. Yeah. No, I know. I understand. But like the beta just has such a negative connotation, and
it shouldn't because they're literally like the vice president.
Yeah. And then the archetype for alpha is not going to go how you think it's going to go. That man has been driven before he got with you. He largely disagreeable. He not going to do a lot of negotiating. He not going to be that nice. Like I work hard as hell, but I've been doing it. So I can say it's for my family, but it's really just my personality. Right. But it has a lot of negative effects as when people don't talk about that enough,
Mm-hmm.
So.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And then also, too, I don't even think it's for you to determine. I don't see people walking around saying that I'm this, I'm that. It's usually everybody else around you. Like they usually kind of decide what it is for you. And then you kind of get an idea. I don't know too many people walking around. I don't care about the terminology, though. I understand the purpose of it, yes. But usually when you walk in the room and depending on if you're that guy, you can just feel it. You don't have to say anything. Like the people around you just don't know. Like they know who everyone is. And there's some people that may suspect people may be something, but I don't see too many guys walking around with screaming these titles.
Because it's not something you talk about in real life. Like nobody.
Nah, you don't. Yeah, you don't
categorize yourself. Like, man, hey, look, you're an alpha, my guy, and I'm a beta, my G. And also, I will say, I think there's different degrees of what an alpha is. There's your alpha who's an alpha amongst men, a man that can move men. You know what I mean? And then there's the ones that are alphas of their family. Because if you look in the wild, there's not one alpha lion. There's several of them. And then you got other, situations where other animals and they are alphas of their clan or whatever. And I think the same thing exists amongst us. For instance, Trev can't come to me and move my family without me moving. I can't go to Hamp and move his family. Only he can move his family. Now, if he's a beta in his family, that's totally different. That means, or he may, what's the word for somebody who has equal say with their partner? What would you call that?
divorced.
Okay.
But like, what would we like? Okay, we know what an alpha is. We know what a beta is. Like, what would we call somebody who's a lead by committee type person? And
Probably
they
down low or some shit like that.
What?
Yeah, it's not.
Then you got those dudes. You know what I mean? Whatever that is. Whatever it is, that's what you got. You got those dudes.
I had a conversation with one of my close guy friends from knee high, right? And his wife a lawyer. So me and him was on the phone. He had me on speakerphone, and we was debating this: do women want a leader thing? So he was telling me he's not the leader of his relationship. They co-partners, right? They both lead. So I'm going back and forth with him. We did this about an hour and a half. She listened in the background, and then finally, she admitted that she did want a leader. And he wouldn't say he was the leader. He called me 2 days later, mad, thinking I was trying to take his wife from him because we had that conversation on speakerphone. Damn. I let him vent because it's my homie. But I took like, bro, remember who I am. You know what I'm saying? You stay within the parameters of this conversation. That shit was crazy though.
JR,
divorce.
That just talking about to speak the other point and why men lead with might. And this goes back to what we were talking about a little bit earlier, where people move when it comes to money, right? People will do things like, if you're a desperate person, you're going to do things that you normally wouldn't do when someone has something that they want, right? So if you have, he's used to seeing things happen. When you go in a restaurant, they see that guy have money. Oh, damn, we got to make sure this was a good one. Like everything. He's used to being treated well because he has money. When you step into a Gucci store, they know you have money. They're going to give you a different type of service than if you just went to Marshall's. It's different. So when people look at you, they look at your car, they stare in. Oh, can I drive? Or can I, they just want to, can I take a picture with it? When they see you have these things, they're attracted to that, right? When they see you not moving because you weren't really fazed by it, he's going to start mentioning these things because maybe he feels like you didn't realize that those shoes were $1,300. And he's used to women jumping. What he doesn't understand is that women aren't going to respect you because of that. They're going to use you. You are a trick at the end of the day. That's what you are. And he can't really discern the difference between real energy and somebody just using you as a trick, because they still get the results that they want, but then they start wanting the person to feel a certain way about them. They want them to love them the way that somebody else might love them. No, they don't love you. They love what you can do because they love your money. They don't like you at all. And people just don't get it sometimes. They don't really understand people. So they look at what their money results get them. So they're going to keep flashing that. And that's probably his best attribute. He probably doesn't have any charisma, right? He probably doesn't have a decent physical prowess. He's probably just goofy, right? Might be socially awkward. But when he's talking money, people might listen. People might respect it.